Welcome back to today's Explainer. We are diving headfirst into Chapter 4 of The Echo of the First Guardian. It's called The Last Forgotten Story, and let me tell you, this chapter literally turns everything we thought we knew about this universe completely upside down. We're going to unpack some heavy cosmic history, break down absolute laws, and really look at what memory actually is. So let's just jump right in. Find me. Two little words, but man, they carry the weight of an entire universe's forgotten history. Before we even figure out who is speaking, you can just feel the sheer desperation, right? It's not just a polite request, it's a massive cosmic anomaly breaking right through the fabric of a perfectly balanced reality. So we gotta ask, who exactly is asking to be found? And maybe more importantly, from where? Section 1, the strange call. The anomaly in a peaceful world. Okay, let's dive into this. To really get this anomaly, we have to look at the backdrop. Humanity is living in perfect harmony in these floating cities, and the omniscient ocean, totally calm. But then, the anomaly hits, and it escalates fast. Step 1, Sora starts hearing this sad, incredibly ancient melody coming from a shell. Step 2, that tune shifts into a feeling, hitting her with those two haunting words, "Find me." And then, step 3, it gets physical. Circles of light broadcast a vision of this weird white underwater city. The crazy part? No one recognizes it. Not humanity, not the ancient archives, not even the ocean itself. Which brings us to Section 2, a broken memory, the impossible happens. Look, the fact that the ocean doesn't recognize the city, that is pure cosmic dread. Just look at the physical toll it takes on the world. Hina is holding a memory sphere that literally has a crack running right through it. I mean, how does a concept like a memory physically break? Then we see Ren and Aoi, and their silhouettes are fading. They become so transparent you can actually see the stars shining right through them. Oh, and the lights in the infinite library, they start dimming. It's like the repository of all existence is literally shivering in fear. And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer scale of the crisis we're dealing with. On one side, we have the ocean's absolute, unbreakable rule. It remembers everything. It hasn't lost a single detail in thousands of years. But then, look at the other side. The ocean breaks the silence of millennia just to admit, I lost something. It's confessing that there's a story it doesn't fully remember anymore. This is unprecedented. It's honestly like gravity just deciding to stop working one day. Moving right along to Section 3, the first sacrifice, the secret history of the universe. Now, what's really interesting about this timeline is trying to figure out what could be so ancient that its absence is literally tearing reality apart. Let's trace it back, past the present day, past the first civilizations. We're going back billions of years, way back to a time before the ocean even existed, before anything was ever recorded. This is where we meet the first guardian. This was the very first consciousness to realize that if memory disappears, the universe completely forgets itself. So to prevent absolute nothingness, the first guardian made this unimaginable metaphysical transaction. They sacrificed their own identity, literally gave up their name, their past, and their whole future, just to create the concept of a first memory. They became the glue holding the bricks of reality together, giving the universe the actual ability to remember. But, you know, the price for that miracle was devastating. The world kept all its stories, except for one. The universe perfectly remembers every little detail of existence, but it completely forgot its own creator. The Guardian was totally erased from the very system they built. Even the all-knowing ocean has zero memory of who this being was. Which leads Sora to ask a seriously profound question, and I want you to think about this right now too. If no one remembers him, why does he still exist? I mean, in a universe where your very existence is tied to being remembered, how is a completely forgotten entity still lingering around? Let's see how this builds in Section 4, The Forgotten Returns, the Weight of Infinity Loneliness. Now we're jumping from ancient history to a direct, face-to-face confrontation. The ocean answers Sora's question, and it's chilling. It says, the forgotten doesn't disappear. It waits. Just let that sink in for a second. The lights in the library go completely dim. The tension is just through the roof. The forgotten isn't gone. It's just been sitting there, festering in the dark corners of the universe for billions of years, waiting for the exact moment it can't be ignored anymore. And right then, the Guardian finally manifests. But it's not some glorious, glowing god. It appears as this blurry, faceless figure, woven entirely out of the empty void between other people's memories. And here's the craziest part. The ocean, this massive, unbeatable force of nature, it actually retreats from the figure.
Then the figure speaks. I am tired of being forgotten. The voice has no age, no specific nature. There's no malice, no evil plan to destroy the world. It's just infinite, crushing exhaustion. Sora realizes she isn't even scared. What she's feeling is a loneliness so massive it actually feels heavier than the ocean itself. But hey, do not mistake that exhaustion for weakness, okay? The raw power of the First Guardian is absolute. The figure just casually reaches out a hand and poof, a star of the future simply disappears. It doesn't explode, it just ceases to exist, like it was never there to begin with. This casual, terrifying erasure is what makes Ren and Aoi step forward, desperately wondering if this really is the First Guardian, and if someone this forgotten can even be saved. Which brings us to our final part, Section 5, the choice to remember, Sora's realization. So, the crucial point is this. Faced with a being that can literally wipe out the future, everything rests on Sora's shoulders. And she has this massive breakthrough that redefines how this entire universe works. Memory isn't just a hard drive. It's not just passively storing the past. Sora realizes that true memory is an active, deliberate choice not to let something disappear. It's an act of will, an act of love. Really, it's an act of salvation. Armed with that realization, Sora actually walks up to this terrifying, godlike figure. Her hands are visibly shaking, but she asks the most empathetic, powerful question you could possibly imagine. If no one remembers your name, what do you want to be called? It is just such a beautifully human moment. Think about it. For billions of years, this entity has existed in total silence. This is the very first time anyone has offered it the agency to define itself. And the physical reaction is immediate. The figure just freezes. That crushing void around it finally starts to lighten up. And as the Guardian raises its head, for the very first time, we actually see the reflection of stars in its eyes. Just by asking that question, by making the active choice to acknowledge its existence, Sora is pulling the Guardian right back out of the absolute void. But this explainer does leave us with a pretty heavy, tragic final thought. The Guardian answers her quietly, I don't remember. You know, the damage of billions of years of pure isolation just doesn't vanish overnight. They've been forgotten for so long that they actually forgot themselves. But the void did lighten. The stars are back in their eyes. So it leaves us with this incredible, provocative question. How do you help the very creator of memory remember who they are? Thanks for diving into this amazing chapter with us. Keep choosing to remember, and we'll catch you in the next explainer.